Hello students, once again I extend my heartiest welcome to everyone in my class. Dear students, as you can see today we are going to discuss a very beautiful poem, The Ball, written by John Berryman. Students, this poem is about losing something that we love and learning to grow up. It's about a little boy who has lost his ball, right? So he has a great affection, great love for this ball. So the poet tells us here that how he feels, how this boy feels when he loses his ball. And later on, towards the end of the poem, poet tells us that this experience of losing his ball, the ball that he loves a lot, it is going to help this boy in growing up. Students, life is a journey and we meet various different kinds of experiences in our life. If something good happens with us, so this good experience also helps us in growing up. Similarly, if something bad happens with us, the grievances of that bad happening, the bad experience, it also helps us in growing up. In a nutshell, it can be said that both kinds of experiences, good or bad, both are important and both help us in growing up. So, in this present poem, poet tells about all this, that how both the other experience, which is a bad experience in our life, how does it help us in growing up, right? So let's begin. So what all the things we are going to discuss today, students? First of all, we'll discuss about the poet of this poem, followed by the central idea of the poem. Central idea means the main theme of the poem. Then there will be explanation of the poem line by line, followed by main literary devices, and at last we will discuss some important questions which can be asked in the examination. Fine, so let us begin. Students, as I said, the poet of this poem is John Berryman. According to Wikipedia, he was born on 25th October 1914 and his death date is marked there as 7th January 1972. His full name was John Allen McAlpin Berryman, right? He was an American poet and scholar. He was born in McAlester in Oklahoma, right? He was a major figure in American poetry in the second half of 20th century and is considered a key figure in the field of literature. A scholar and a professor, as well as a poet, he is best known for the Dream Song, which was published in the year 1969, right? It has this composition, this Dream Song, which was published in the year 1969. It has intentionally personal sequence of 385 poems which brought him these two prizes. The first one is the Pulitzer Prize, a very important one, and the second one is National Book Award. Both these prizes are very prestigious prizes that John Berryman got after publication of this beautiful composition, that was the Dream Songs in 1969, right? Let's move on. So students, this is the central idea, the main theme of the poem. What is there in the main theme? A boy loses a ball in the water, in the river. He is very upset over it. Though the ball does not cost too much, it gives a big shock to him. The cost of the ball is not very much, even then it gives a lot shock to the boy. He keeps on staring at the place where his ball has gone. The poet sees all this, but he doesn't interfere with the boy's ruminations. The poet thinks that the loss of the ball will teach the boy a lesson, okay, which I told you in the beginning of the class, that this experience of losing his ball, the ball that he is a lot in love with, he has a great affection for his ball, okay. So when he loses this ball, obviously he is not happy. He is very upset. He is very sad over it. So poet, when he finds that this boy has lost his ball, he does not interfere there. He does not go there to console the boy, but he comes to a philosophy that the boy has lost his ball. So this will teach the boy a lesson of accepting the loss. Accepting the loss with tolerance and pleasure, right? Everyone has to lose something or the other in this world, still they are to survive and finish their obligations, right? This loss makes the boy learn that gains and losses are part and parcel of life, that one should accept them as a common matter. Okay, it's a very beautiful poem having a very deep message. The deep message that the poet emphasizes here, that everyone has to lose something or the other in this world. Okay, it does not happen with any human being in this world that he has not lost something. This something can be any article, any item, or it can be, more importantly, it can be a person also. Okay, so if any person is lost, any dear one we have lost, so that also helps us in growing up, because we do not stop our obligations, we finish our obligations, and all sorts of losses, that these help us in learning that gains and losses are integral part. Okay, I'm using the word integral here because that you cannot keep yourself away from those losses, right? So the poet talks beautifully about all the gains and losses here. Now we will proceed on to the detailed explanation of the poem, right? So here we go. First I'll read the stanza, though it is not divided into separate stanzas, so I have taken these 5 lines first and so on. So what is the boy now who has lost his ball? What? What is he to do? I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily over. There it is in the water. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. Right? So the poet tells that this boy was playing, and how did the ball go in the water? This has not been given, but what does the poet start the poem with? He says that the boy has lost his ball. Okay, now what he will do, what is he to do, means what is he going to do there when he has lost his ball? Now you need to focus on this word here, his, which is printed in blue. Boys, this word is a pronoun which has been used for the boy who has lost his ball. Similarly, I have highlighted here this word it, which is a pronoun used for the ball, right? So sometimes these small question, one word questions are framed from the comprehension of the poem, that what this particular word has been used for. For example, a question can be framed here that for whom does the poet use the word his, right? So the correct answer here is that the poet uses his for the boy, right? So the boy has lost his ball. So now the poet wants to see that what is he going to do next. Further, poet says that I saw it go. See here again, I need to emphasize it here. I need to underline this word here. I see this word his has been used for the boy who has lost his ball. I has not been used for the boy, rather, it has been used for the poet. What does the poet say further? He says that I saw it go. He saw this ball go. Okay, merrily bouncing. Okay, now this word merrily is a symbol of happy childhood. Students, the ball here symbolizes the childhood, which is a time in our life that is full of energy, right? It's full of energy. We bounce like ball and we jump this side, we jump that side, and there is no end of all energy that we have accumulated. So the poet says that like our childhood, like the childhood of the poet or the childhood of this boy, the ball went on, the ball bounced on merrily down the street. Okay, now down the street, the poet has used it. As I said, this ball, say for example, this ball is a symbol of childhood. Okay, now this street or various places where the ball is bouncing through, these are the places of the symbol that the poet uses to symbolize the past time, right? It's a universal law that one does not remain in his one age. And if you remember William Shakespeare saying different stages in our life, in the same way, we after crossing one stage, we jump into the other stage. Then after crossing that stage, after leaving that age, we go to the next stage. Similarly, the poet wants to emphasize here that the childhood also is not permanent. So, like the ball, it merrily goes, it merrily goes and it gets over. Like the ball finally would have gone into water, similarly, our childhood also finishes. It comes to an end. And as the ball went into water, similarly, our childhood also goes over. It finishes. Okay, so he says that I saw it go, it was merrily bouncing, I saw it going down the street, and then finally it merrily got over into the water, right? It went into the water, and that is why the boy was sad. This boy was sad. Please don't take that he's happy he has lost his ball. This boy, this image I have taken only to just to show that physically we can have different other balls. Okay, we can buy that. We'll learn in the next slide that if this ball was lost, so why should not the boy take another ball? It can be easily bought. So just to show this, just to denote that physically we can buy many different balls. Okay, but practically the same ball cannot be bought back, it cannot be brought back, right? So this is why the last line of this stanza, this fifth line of the poem says that no use to say, oh, there are other balls, right? Now you take this example with your childhood. Now there is no use once you have stepped out of your childhood. Once we, I'll use rather the word we, once we have stepped out of our childhood, it is not possible for us to go back to that stage again. We cannot do that. Okay, so this is what the poet wants to focus here. He wants us to take a lesson out of this balls going into water, that as this same ball cannot be brought back. Okay, similarly the childhood once gone cannot be brought back. As the boy had a lot of affection for that ball which has gone into water, similarly we have various beautiful experiences, and for what we have a lot of affection for. You would have heard a common saying that childhood is the best time of our life, of anyone's life, because we people are free from any sort of stress, no tension, nothing. We are full of energy, joy, happiness, and bouncing like boy, shining like flowers. We keep on growing up. But certainly there comes a time that this age also gets over, right? So the poet wants to tell us here that like the ball went into water, similarly this age is also going to get over, right? Let's move on. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. See, he had a great love. This boy had an affection for ball. Okay, we have certain things in our life which are beautiful. Okay, which we have got a lot affection for. Sometimes it can be a mobile phone, it can be a cell phone, it can be a gadget, it can be a ball, it can be any musical instrument. Similarly, this boy had a great affection for the ball that he has just lost. The moment he found that now he cannot get back that ball, so this idea, it shakes the boy with a lot grief. He's not happy, he is sad, he is upset over this experience, that in ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy, that he's not able to say anything, he's not able to utter anything, right? As he stands rigid, trembling, and staring down all his young days into the harbor. Now, the poet here directly compares the ball with the childhood days, and as this boy, he was feeling sad and he was feeling upset over the balls being sunk into water. When the ball went into water, that he is not able to take it out. Similarly, the poet says that the moment when this boy realized that, oh, this ball is a symbol of my childhood, so now I cannot get it back. So this experience or this idea ultimately shakes him with grief, that he stands rigid. This rigid means something that is very hard. He is not able to move with the idea that now I cannot get back my childhood, because now when he stares down, when he looks back, all his young days, all those days of childhood, these have gone into the harbor where his ball went. Okay, now harbor is a symbol that has been used for the vast childhood. Generally, the literal meaning of the word harbor is a place where ships and boats are kept, right? And but harbor has been used here by the poet to denote, to express vast childhood, huge childhood, long childhood. Okay, so once it is gone, once it has gone, the boy, he feels upset over it. This idea, it makes him rigid, it makes him tremble with grief, that he keeps on staring down and staring down on the young days, over the young days that he had spent throughout his vast childhood, right? So when the poet finds that the boy is standing there at the bank of this river, or where the ball had gone, he saw him. So what does he say further? I would not intrude him, I would not disturb him from doing so. When he was experiencing that, when he was analyzing all his losses, right? So when he stood there and saw that there is no way out to take the ball out from the water, so the poet did not disturb him. Why does not the poet disturb him? See, the poet wants that the boy should do analysis himself. The boy should think about this loss himself, because the main purpose of the poet for writing this poem is that he wants us to understand the importance of loss in our life. He wants to let us remember that loss is also an integral part of our life. that we should deal with very carefully, that we should not be uh, we should not be just covered completely by the grief of what we have lost, but he wants us to take a lesson out of it. That is why the poet did not disturb him. Okay, he wants him to understand the importance of this loss. He wants the boy to deduce, to find it out, to calculate himself that what can he learn out of this experience, right? So I would not intrude him. A dime, another ball is worthless. He knows that with the help of dime means money, with the help of money, another ball can be bought. But he doesn't want boy to do this. That's why he did not intrude. He says that with the help of money, buying another ball is worthless. Is worthless means is not possible. Practically, if you have lost your any article, anything, for this boy, he lost his ball. Physically, as I said, he can buy. He can go simply in a shop and can buy another ball from there, which usually boys do when they have lost their ball in a cricket match. So the balls can easily be bought, but the poet wants his to understand the importance of this ball, for what he has symbolizes the ball with childhood, right? He says that buying this ball again, okay, is worthless, is not possible. It cannot be possible, right? So let right. So what happens next? In the next stanza, the poet says that now he senses first responsibility. Okay, the boy now he starts, as I said that in the previous stanza, the poet did not disturb the boy from thinking. When he was thinking over the loss he had just gone through, the poet allows him to think over it, and he does not disturb him. So what happens after he thinks, after he does all the deliberation in his mind? So what happens, what is the product of all the deliberations that he does in his mind? That now he senses, now he senses means now he understands the first responsibility. The first responsibility that in a world of positions, people will take balls and balls will be lost always. Little boy, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. The boy now he understood that the balls, that various balls that he had, one day or the other he is going to lose them, all right, and it is a part and the parcel of his life, all right. In the world of position, when we have possessed, when we have something, position means to say something that we have. So the boy understood the first responsibility, that out of anything that we possess, ball will be lost anyways and always. All right. This little boy he understood. He now got the idea out of his all self-talk, or say the deliberations that he did after he found that he is not able to take out his ball out of the water. Then he understood that, then he sensed that the first responsibility, the responsibility that in the world of positions, the losing of balls is inevitable, is a part, and is going to happen in his life. So money cannot buy everything. So money is not the stuff, money is not the thing that can help us in buying the same thing back. Now if we take the example of the childhood, those bright days, do you think that if you have a lot of money, by paying some money to a shop you can get back your childhood days? No, that's not possible. That is next to impossible, right? So the boy here understood that losing something, whether that is a thing, whether anything that we are possessing, anything that we have, losing something will always exist there. Now there is a here is a huge message for all of us, that losing something, whether it is a thing or a person in our life, it's going to be a regular part of our life. It's going to be an inevitable part of our life. Further, at last, he says that no one buys a ball back. Money is external. Money is external means it is not possible that you buy your age, you buy your those beautiful memories with the help of money. You cannot do that. No one can do that. It's not possible. So the poet, he tells us that with the help of all what this boy experiences, and now he comes to a conclusion that out of all anything that we possess in this world, he wants to tell us that losing something is going to be it is going to be an inevitable part in our life, something that has to happen anyhow. Okay, and he also tells us there is a huge message for those people who feel that money can buy everything. No, there is a strict message of the poet for those people who feel that money can buy any happiness, money can buy any time, money can buy luxuries, money can buy any uh, gadget, any stuff for you, but it cannot buy everything. Means it cannot buy your golden memories, it cannot buy back your golden days, right? We should remember that the poet, he has symbolized here balls with childhood. Okay, with the help of money we cannot buy the ball of childhood. Okay, another ball physically can be bought. If you go in a shop, you can definitely buy another ball, but practically, if we talk in terms of various stages in human's life, this childhood and the memories of childhood, or not only childhood but also the different memories of different stages, cannot be bought. Here can be one indirect message that the poet wants to convey here, that we should merrily enjoy. Like in the first stanza, if you remember, when the ball was going into the water, that time he tells briefly that how the ball was rolling down on the street. He tells that the ball was going happily, merrily. So somewhere the poet also wants to tell us that like the childhood, we are not worried for anything. The ball did not worry for anything. Happily, whether that was a street, whether the cars were going there, whether any person was going there, whether there was a huge traffic, the ball did not worry for that, but it went into the water merrily. So here it can be a message out of the words of the poet that we should enjoy our time, because later on that stage is going to get over. And here he tells that with the help of money, that stage cannot be brought back. Neither it can be brought back nor it can be bought. Right, let's move on. Now at last, what does the poet say? That he is learning. He's learning well behind his desperate eyes the epistemology of loss, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days how to stand up. As you can see, I've taken a picture here of a road that has got no beginning, but if you can say that this is the beginning, okay, but it has got no end. So similarly, life is a long journey with both good and bad experiences. We keep on learning from both the experiences. Okay, now he's learning, this boy is learning, he is learning well behind his desperate eyes. Obviously it does not mean that. Why does the poet use here the word desperate? After looking at the situation that the boy cannot get back his ball, the boy understood, or you can say he came to a conclusion that out of this loss also there is a great learning. There is a great learning that things or people are not going to stay with us forever. But even after that great knowledge that came to boys, obviously we do not forget that thing. There is somewhere at the corner of our heart a love or an affection still there is. Okay, so well behind his desperate eyes means somewhere he is upset still. Though he is upset, but he's learning. He is learning the epistemology. What is epistemology mean to say? It's a study, but here you can take it as knowledge. The knowledge of loss. The knowledge of loss that it's going to help him to stand up. It's going to help him that every man must one day know he will face a lot of challenges, that how out of those challenges he will know, he will learn that how to come out of those challenges, how to face those challenges boldly. This is what the boy learned at last. This is what the poet wants to tell us through the experiences of the boy. When he found that his ball has been lost, it has gone, he cannot brought it back. First he was upset, first he was unhappy over it, but later on towards the end of the poem, the boy understood the epistemology of loss. He understood that loss is going to be an integral part of his life. He is going to lose people, he is going to lose things, he is going to lose many things in his life. Right? But instead of being unhappy, instead of being sad or upset over this situation, the boy comes to a conclusion, the boy comes to a deduction that this loss also helps him in growing up, in learning that how to stand up, how to face challenges. Okay, so this is what the poet wants to tell us through this poem, that life is a long journey. Students, we should remember that life is a, it's that if we take life as a long journey, it has got no destination. Okay, there is no destination, but rather everything that we experience on this road, okay, whether bad or good, while going through, while walking on this road, so anything that we experience, that experience helps us in growing up. If anything bad, imagine if anything bad happens here, okay, our life does not stop, we carry on. For some days it can be possible that we are surrounded by, we are captured by the affection that we have got for that person, got for that thing, but later on, as the time goes on, we carry on our journey and we continue. This is what the boy, he understood that loss of something, as he had got he had a very great affection for his own ball. So the moment this ball goes into the water, he is looking, he is trying to find out the ways, he is trying, obviously he must be thinking about the ways to get the ball back, but he's not able to do so. So what happens, that he comes to a deduction, he comes to a conclusion that it's going to be a regular part of his life, not only his life but everyone else in this world. Right? So this was the beautiful poem written by the poet, where he talks about the bad and good experiences and the teaching and the learning that we should take, we must take out of all the experiences. Right? Let's move on. See students, these are some of the poetic devices, literary devices which has been used, which have been, which have been used in the poem. The first one is repetition. Repetition, you know that we have already done something that gets repeated. See the word what repeats here. So it's repetition. Now before explaining this imagery and alliteration, please go for anaphora. Anaphora is also a repetition, but rather word, there is a phrase that is repeated. So what is comes twice, so here it is anaphora. Okay, and what word is repetition, it's being repeated, so it's a repetition. Okay. Imagery. See students, the moment the ball goes down merrily, so the poet helps us in creating the images there. So here it is imagery, right? The next poetic device that has been used here is alliteration, and alliteration comes in this line, and no one buys a ball back. Okay. Alliteration, we know that the repetition of consonant sounds b b b, it gets repeated here. And anaphora, I have already explained it to you, that it comes in the place when what is it is being repeated. Finally, rhyming scheme, which can be asked in the examination. Students, this poem has got no rhyming scheme. As you could see that usually there is a rhyming scheme, so sometimes a 1 mark question is asked that what is the rhyming scheme of the poem. Okay, so for this poem there is no rhyming scheme. Okay students, I had prepared some important questions also for you, but as I can see the length of this chapter has already been it's already 35 plus minutes. So what am I doing is I'm going to post these questions as assignment, and you can practice these questions, and so that when it is required to write the answers, you are able to do so. Okay, so watch this video carefully, and if there is anything that you were not able to understand, or any word or any phrase that you found that was difficult to understand, please let me know that. Write it to me on the, you can write it on the classroom that wall. You can send me using my mail ID, or my WhatsApp number is already with you, right? So I'm going to bring one more video lesson for you, hopefully on this lesson only, because we are going to revise this lesson once more along with these questions, right? So till then, have a nice day to you all. Thank you very much.